there's a pending investigation of Pete Hegseth. Some Republicans seem a little bit interested in that. Perhaps if the pressure on the Republicans in the run up to the midterms is really bad on them, then they might take it seriously. But in advance of that, some Democrats, although certainly not all, are pushing for impeachment of Pete Hegseth right now. So we have Democratic Representative Shri Thanadar, who has announced that he's filing articles of impeachment already, both over the intentional murder of the survivors of their already illegal strike, and then also the Signalgate controversies, and God knows what else is going on with Pete Hegseth, what the scandal of the next month will be. But it doesn't seem incredibly likely to actually work out right now. Even Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries doesn't seem super interested. It would, and even if you had all of the Democrats, which they don't appear to right now, you would need some Republicans on board, and I don't know who that would be at this point. I mean, even Marjorie Greene was the one most likely to disagree with them, and she's gonna be gone by then. And honestly, this is an area where I don't know she would necessarily have much of a problem with what they were doing anyway. And so I just don't know that the math could end up working out. Now, the conversation around that, the investigations, particularly if the Democrats were to take over following the midterms and could do substantive investigations with subpoenas, could do questioning of people, maybe that generates enough negative news cycles for Pete Hegseth that Donald Trump, as you've alluded to, Cenk, decides that he's just not worth it. But in terms of like pushing him out through the process right now, that doesn't seem super likely.
No, probably not. And the guy who filed this is a bit of a clown. He also filed impeachment charges against Trump. And if you say, well, what's wrong with that? Way too early. Look, you've got to have some sort of momentum for these things. Otherwise, they become counterproductive. And so it's not like Trump hasn't already done 10 terrible things or et cetera, but he's constantly going out of order in a way that is counterproductive to try to get attention for himself. And he's a huge corporate Democrat and helps like the worst of guys while you're not looking. He's a huge crypto guy. So I wouldn't trust this guy at all. So look, it's not to say that Pete Hegseth shouldn't be impeached or can't be impeached at another time, but I don't think this is the right way to go about it. But on the other hand, to be fair to the folks who are going after him in any way, shape, or form, I mean, is anything going to be productive? Can you get, can you really? And John, maybe that's the last question here, which is that I was already surprised that some of the Republican legislators showed concern about this. I've never seen them care about morality in my life. I don't mean right-wing voters, I mean the politicians. And so I didn't know what was going on there, but it seems like they're closing ranks again and all. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna flip over the boat and blah 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 blah, and then and then somehow an eagle was gonna land with rifles and it's that right. So I think the only way that any of this comes to fruition is Trump thinks it's too much bad press, or magically enough Republicans gain a conscience in Congress, but that seems near impossible.
Yeah, and even like, as I mentioned, the example of Marjorie Greene, like that's somebody who was starting to distance herself, was getting some positive, press from it, and then immediately left. I don't know that necessarily inspires a lot of the others to follow suit if it seems like a path to, potentially losing your seat. In any event, yeah, I think that it could be that Donald Trump is already, his polling is absolute garbage. It's dog crap. He's terrible, and it's only gonna get worse from here. It could be that as we get closer and closer to like undisputable lame duck status, the stuff that they're doing to radically and unconstitutionally increase the power of the executive branch starts to look less like a convenient thing to have your patron be able to do, and more like just more potential presence that you're handing to the next administration. Like the Supreme Court's like going to be looking into Trump being able to effectively just get rid of like independent agencies. Well, that's good for Trump now, but it's also potentially pretty good for a Democrat, including a progressive Democrat, if they wanted to use that new power, or if they, decided that there's some upstart militia and they just don't want to deal with it anymore, so they just bomb them in the woods of Michigan or something. Like all this stuff they're signing off on doesn't just end the day Donald Trump is no longer in power. As much as they might want to hope that that's the way that it would go. I hope that there are a few with a little bit of forethought that realize that their careers are definitely going to outlast Sleepy Don. his heart could pop any day, and they're gonna have to deal with the damage of what they're normalizing right now.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, John. I mean, first of all, on the it could be used to tread on you, and so be careful what you're signing up for. And number two is the midterms are now closer, and Trump is very unpopular. Like if you watch right wing media, you might not know that, but the polling is in, and he was at -1 at the beginning, which is not bad at all. Now he's at -24. So that's why you're seeing Republican congressmen go, wait, did I say it with Trump? Did I say it with Trump? Well, I mean, only a little bit, right? Okay, I see you, dog.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.